Listening, multiple choice, single answer, guided practice. Question number 1.
She worked as an enrollment officer for two for-profits at opposite ends of the spectrum, a cosmetology career school and a large college that offered associate's, bachelor's, and graduate degrees. She left after fearing that instead of helping the students she recruited to improve their financial future, she was leaving them with large student loan debt they'd never earn enough to repay. When she left the for-profit college sector, she returned to college, completed her BA, and went on to earn her PhD from Emory University. Her dissertation was a study of for-profit colleges. Cottom is now an assistant professor of sociology at Virginia Commonwealth University.
Correct option, the last one. The audio clearly talks about this person who's now an assistant professor, that she worked in the profit sector for two organizations in the profit sector, but then describes the reason why she left, because she was not really helping students. She was recruiting and leaving them with huge debts that they'll not be able to pay. Okay, the other things they are mentioned, for example, the second last point, she is an assistant professor now, right? But that was not the reason why she left. She didn't leave to take up the job of assistant professor or because a large college offered her to pursue any degree. She did leave, she completed a degree and later on became an assistant professor. But those were not initially the reasons for leaving. Initially the reason for leaving was that she felt she was not really helping the students. So this highlights again, yeah, you got it right, the importance of paying attention, trying to understand and understanding the whole context. Next question now.
Well, what do you consider to be the most difficult part of your job when you're working with trying to teach teachers technology?
The most difficult part of my job is to captivate their attention. Once I am able to sell myself as a good resource for them, then it becomes a satisfying experience.
Okay. Well,
this is an easy question. Right in the beginning, she says, the interviewer asks, what's the most challenging part of her job? Which is the question that you need to answer. And then the lady tells what's that most challenging part of her job, which is to captivate the attention of the teachers. So as long as you are able to understand the word captivate, that, it is similar in meaning to attracting the attention. So captivating the attention is the same. Then you will easily, you can pick option number 2, which is correct. In your exam, you will have different types of audio. Some will be difficult, long, but you'll also come across simple ones like this. Question number 3 now.
You may remember President Trump's tweet that he won the popular vote if you deduct the millions of people who voted illegally. There is no evidence to support his claim that there were millions of fraudulent votes. Last week, President Trump issued an executive order establishing an election integrity commission. One of its goals is to prevent voter fraud. The commission is headed by Vice President Pence, the former governor of Indiana, and Chris Kobach, the Kansas Secretary of State. A New York Times editorial said yesterday, quote, "Those two states have put in place voter suppression techniques that may end up being models for the commission," unquote.
First, read the question. Which of the following can be thought of as the stated major goal of Election Integrity Commission? So you can now guess that the audio is going to be about Election Integrity Commission, something that is being set up. And what is the major goal of that? Stated major goal, that why this commission is being set up. The following, they're supposed to represent the different reasons why it is set up or represent the goals of the commission. You have to pick the one which is correct as per the audio. And the correct option is to stop voter fraud, as the president had claimed there were millions of fraudulent votes. Everything else is mentioned, that there are voter suppression techniques used in states such as Indiana to investigate Trump's claims that there were millions of fraudulent votes, etc. But the stated goal means why it has been set up. What the reason that has been given is option number 2. So again, if you are able to understand the context, you will be able to get this correct. But simply by remembering the keywords or trying to do a match, you will not be able to do that. So once again, I request you to practice taking notes, practice visualization when you listen to these audios. Now let's look at the final question in this practice session.
If I'm going to be completely honest and transparent, when I was a freshman in high school, I was doing really well in math, and I had gone to my math teacher and said, hey, what can you do when you excel in math? Like, what kind of pathways do you have? And he says, well, you can be an accountant or you can be an engineer. And I thought, well, accounting doesn't sound like fun at all. And so I kind of latched onto the idea that that was what I was going to be. Now, I had no idea what that meant until I went to college, and I started off at a community college. And again, I'm in this introductory engineering class, and they're like, okay, what kind of engineering discipline do you want to concentrate in? And I was like, well, engineering. And they were like, no, there's a lot more than that. And
the correct option, but 2, she picked engineering without properly researching the field. This is the last question in this session, so I want you to do this in the detailed manner. First, check your notes. Are they correct? Or should they have contained some more information? So if you have to listen to the audio again, do that. Take notes properly. And then for each reason, explain to yourself, write it down, why option number 2 is correct and why the other options are wrong. So for each, I want you to give a reason. Take as much time as needed, but please do all of these things as that. That is what will help you to learn and get these questions right in the exam.